When you spend your whole life sacrificing for your children, you never imagine the day they'll turn their back on you. But life, I've learned, carries its own bitter lessons that come when you least expect them. My name is Amir, and I worked for 37 years at the same factory. I was never rich, never influential, never someone whose name appeared in newspapers. But I was steady, honest, hardworking. Every day, without fail, I left home before sunrise, returned after sunset, and made sure my wife and children never lacked anything. When my wife passed away, I lost half my world. The other half was my only son, Saad. I raised him alone, paid for his school, his college, even his wedding. He was my pride, my companion, my hope for old age. I thought we were close. I thought he cared. I was wrong. The day everything changed. One winter morning, the factory owner called me into his office. His words were quick, sharp, and merciless. Budget cuts, downsizing, we have to let the older staff go. Older staff, just another way of saying you're not useful anymore. At 62, I walked out with a small envelope of compensation money and a heart heavier than steel. I told Saad that evening. His reaction wasn't what I expected. Instead of comfort, worry, or even sympathy, his expression tightened with irritation. Abu, how will we manage? I have my own responsibilities. You can't just depend on me. It's only temporary, I tried explaining. I will find work. But he wasn't listening. He was calculating what I would cost him. I saw the shift, something cold entering his eyes, something that told me I was no longer a father but a burden. Thrown out. 2 weeks later, after job applications, rejections, and rejected phone calls, I came home one evening to find my suitcase at the door. Abu, please understand, Saad said, his tone rehearsed. My wife and I discussed it. The apartment is too small. We can't take care of you, especially when you're not earning. I stared at him, feeling the ground vanish beneath me. Son, I raised you here. This is my home. He avoided my gaze. You can stay with Uncle for a while. When things improve, we'll see. He wouldn't even look me in the eye as he closed the door, the same door that used to open with him running into my arms when he was little. I walked away with trembling hands and a suitcase that suddenly felt heavier than my whole life. A new reality. I moved into my late wife's brother's home. He and his family welcomed me warmly, but inside I battled humiliation. I was a 62-year-old man dependent on others for food and shelter. Some days I questioned my worth. Some nights I cried silently, remembering the son I loved with every fiber of my being. But life wasn't done with me yet. One afternoon, my sister called from Karachi. Amir Bhai, Uncle Rahim has passed away. Uncle Rahim, my mother's younger brother, a quiet man who lived simply and spoke even less. I visited him whenever I could, but he had no children, no close relatives besides me and my sister. 2 days after the funeral, the family lawyer contacted us. And that is when everything changed. The unexpected inheritance. To our absolute shock, Uncle Rahim had left behind not only his house in Karachi, but also savings, bonds, and land, assets accumulated quietly over decades. His will stated, "Everything goes to my nephew Amir, who always remembered me with sincerity." For the first time in months, tears flowed from relief rather than grief. I thanked God for this unexpected mercy. I wasn't seeking riches, I just wanted dignity. Word spread through relatives quickly. And eventually, it reached my son. The return of the prodigal son. 3 days later, Saad showed up at my door. He wore an expression he never had before, soft, overly polite, almost desperate. Abu, he stepped forward to hug me. I've missed you. It took everything in me not to pull away. He sat beside me, speaking sweetly, asking about my health, offering help with anything I needed. I listened quietly, observing the son who once threw me out now acting like a caring angel. Finally, he reached the real reason for his visit. I heard about Uncle Rahim, he began slowly. Mashallah, such a blessing, I'm very happy for you. I said nothing. And Abu, I was thinking, why don't you come back home? Your room is waiting. Things were stressful before, but now everything is settled. Now everything is settled. So that was it. Not love. Not guilt. Not regret. Money. I looked at him carefully. Saad, tell me honestly, why do you want me back? He swallowed. Abu, you're my father, I love you. The lie stung worse than the day he abandoned me. A father's final lesson. I stood up slowly, feeling my age, but also a new strength rising inside me. Saad, I said gently, you closed your door when I needed you most. You made me feel like a burden. A father doesn't forget that pain. He looked down, ashamed, but only because his plan wasn't working. You did not lose me when I lost my job, I continued. You lost me when you lost your humanity. His face stiffened. I have decided to live independently. I don't need your house, your pity, or your sudden affection. He tried to protest, but I raised my hand. I will always pray for you, but as for my inheritance, it will go to those who stood by me when I had nothing. His expression collapsed. For the first time, he realized what his greed had cost him. I walked away, leaving him standing in the doorway, the same way he once left me. Except this time the choice was mine. The life after. I moved to Karachi, renovated my uncle's old house, and began volunteering at a local community center, helping elderly men who, like me, felt forgot. I learned something profound along the way. Blood makes you related. Kindness makes you family. My son still calls sometimes, I answer politely, but I no longer wait for him, I no longer hope for him. Some wounds are too deep to heal. Yet I am at peace. Life took away my job, but gave me back my dignity. And that, I've learned, is the greatest inheritance of all.